TRANSLOGIC. I'm Bradley Hasemeyer.
And I'm Caitlin Thompson. Today on TRANSLOGIC, we're going to meet the man behind the hit film, Who Killed the Electric Car? And talk about his new film, The Revenge of the Electric Car.
Yes, and we'll close out our coverage of DeLorean when we go in depth about the car's creator, visionary car executive John Z. DeLorean, whose genius, combined with his personal demons and public brushes with the law, have made him a legend. But first, it's the World Report.
Coming soon to Turkey is the world's largest auto mall. It's called Utopia, and it's mind-numbing in scope. Planned to be over 700,000 square feet, Utopia will feature more than 400 brands in 200 showrooms, as well as 48 service bays, 42 insurance offices, and 24 banks. There will also be a test track on the roof.
And there will also be 56 bars inside to celebrate your purchase. Too bad you'll have to take a taxi home. At any rate, this is a neat idea. It's a one-stop shopping center for everything you've ever wanted when buying or maintaining your vehicle. You can compare different cars, insurance companies, and loan offers all in one day. It's kind of a genius new approach to car shopping. In 2006, Chris Paine's documentary, Who Killed the Electric Car, told the story of the demise of GM's EV1. Now with electric cars making a comeback, we thought it'd be great to bring Chris in and talk about the resurgence. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Now, talk to me a little bit about what's changed since the death of the EV1.
Well, the biggest thing that happened was oil prices shot through the roof because when the EV1 came out, oil prices were pretty low. And once Americans started seeing $4 a gallon, this was a couple summers ago, everybody said, whoa, maybe my gas car isn't it.
Now, do you think electrics are the way to go? What about some of the other alternative fuels that we've got out there, hydrogen and clean burning diesel and stuff like that?
Well, it's good that all these things are in the mix, for sure, but I think electricity is the killer app. Electricity can be made cleanly, and it's very efficient to put in a battery and have it run out. So if you do hydrogen, you lose 200% of your energy, and biofuels have a lot of potential, especially if they get algae going. But for right now, electric cars are it.
So what about some of these infrastructure problems that are posed by the electrics?
I would say there are no infrastructure problems.
Okay.
Utilities right now can charge about 150 million cars off peak at midnight, when people are sleeping, between midnight and 6 in the morning, 150 million. Right now on the roads, there's 1,500 electric cars. The question is where does the electricity come from?
Right. Do we feel like this is passing the buck on the fossil fuel issue?
It's the only technology that you can really use: solar, wind, renewables, hydro, everything else to make the power.
Now, speaking of that, you actually have 2 EVs that are solar powered, right?
I do.
Okay, tell me a little bit about those. How did that come about?
Well, when we made Who Killed the Electric Car, Toyota saw the boom coming down on GM because so they decided to sell some cars. So those of us that were Toyota did, and we had about 500 EVs that were sold. So I've had one of those for 6 years. It's been fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's one of my cars, and then I have a Tesla. I have about 30 panels on the roof. It charges the house, and it charges the cars in the garage.
Wow. Now, was that an expensive thing to do?
It's way cheaper than it used to be. A lot of these companies will amortize the cost of it. They'll lease you the price, and their idea is it's going to be the same cost as your current bill.
Interesting.
You're just not going to own everything.
Yeah.
We're going to own it. But that's the way it is now.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Revenge of the Electric Car.
We weren't going to do another electric car movie, but Tesla came online, and then we got wind that General Motors was going to say, maybe we were wrong about killing the electric car. And then Nissan said, you know what? This is our chance to leapfrog Toyota.
Yep.
And we thought we got to tell the story. About 3 years ago, we started filming. And I like to think this is a much happier movie.
Right, yeah. Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it.
For our final chapter on the DeLorean, we decided to take a look at the man behind the car.
We sat down with Tamir Arden at the DeLorean fan site EnterMyWorld.com. He's working on an authorized documentary that's been approved by John Z. DeLorean's estate. Check it out.
So a lot of people know John DeLorean these days from the DeLorean automobile. John really came from an engineering point of view. His early days at Packard and Chrysler, and then his most popular days at General Motors, he was known as sort of the flashy kid who came up with brilliant ideas. When it became clear that the marketing was just as important as the engineering, that's where he really shined. And that's where everything started to change. That was in the late 60s. He started getting plastic surgery, changing his clothing, disputes with the GM brass because they had a very strict dress code, and he would wear Italian suits with large lapels. He left GM in 1973 amid a little bit of controversy. A lot of people within the automotive world aren't sure if he left or was forced out. At that point, John was going to make his own car. His big goal was to create an ethical sports car, something that wouldn't be obsolete after 3 or 4 years. It needs to be 2-door, gull-wing, and have stainless steel exterior. He convinced the British government to put up to $100 million into the entire brand new factory in Northern Ireland to create the car. Unfortunately, things didn't go completely smooth. A lot is speculated as to what brought down the DeLorean car company. John has made the DMC-12. The 12 was supposed to stand for $12,000. The car was actually sticker priced between $26,000 to $28,000. Not only in 1981 was there a terrible recession, they had to actually tear down these first 400 cars and completely rebuild them to make sure that they could hit the market with a certain amount of quality. In 1982, when sales weren't that hot for the car and docks were filled with extra vehicles, he actually upped production with the anticipation that he would be getting more funds. Well, Margaret Thatcher and the British government ended up not honoring this deal. Faced with this financial strain, John really had his back up against the wall. And then somebody gave him a call out of the blue, and it was a neighbor of his in California. These people were going to be putting money into the DeLorean Motor Company. Only after a few meetings did he learn about the fact that it had to do with cocaine. The government put together this whole tape of him inside the hotel room that got aired on 60 Minutes, and everyone was appalled, and they see him with this suitcase of cocaine. The cocaine was from a whole other drug bust that had nothing to do with John. Nonetheless, his public image was completely smeared, and this ultimately put the close to the DeLorean Motor Company. The damage was really done at that point. He lost his car company, his wife divorced him, and he spent the rest of his life out of the limelight.
Special thanks to Tamir for sitting down with us. Very interesting stuff.
That's all the time we have for this week. Thanks for watching TRANSLOGIC. I'm Caitlin Thompson. That's Bradley Hassemeyer. Bye-bye.
See ya.